Some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle didn't seem to like that idea too much. That's the way it goes. Where that goes, I don't know, but it's time for, as we all know, the state sovereignty movement. It is high time for the states to stand up and remind our federal colleagues whose powers are enumerated and whose are not. Theirs are enumerated and limited, and the states, compared to theirs, are not. And what as we all know, this movie, the powers not identified are reserved to the people, and to the states, the people. So we're going to have a great fight on the House floor, sending messages to our colleagues in D.C. Back to the auditor's race. So the key is, this is the mentality in Washington, D.C., and there's a lot of this mentality in state government, unfortunately. They don't realize taxpayer money comes from people exactly like you, like me. I've been a taxpayer in this state for almost 30 years. So we need people in the auditor's office, and I fought the fight as chairman of the House Budget Committee, because whenever that budget hits the House floor, it's game on. My liberal colleagues cannot wait to spend money, and we fight over priorities. We fight over, in fact, there's one, and I will give her credit for standing up for her principles, because most of her colleagues don't. She, 3 years ago, I think she did it this year, and I'm sure, 3 years ago, she introduced House Bill 1964. It's just an easy number to remember. House Bill 1964 called for a $1 billion increase in taxes. Oh, yeah. That's a big number.
Yeah.
That's a real big number, but I'll give her credit. She introduced the bill, and she's standing on what she believes in. She's absolutely wrong, but at least she's got some backbone. Most of her colleagues who can't wait to spend your money turn and run the other way. So give her credit for that. But that is the mentality. So we fought that fight in state government for the past 8 years with great Republican leadership, and I would like to continue that fight as a state auditor. Now, most people don't get, in fact, let me ask this question. How many people, if the governor was on the ballot this year, how many people look forward to putting Jay Nixon on the unemployment lines? How many people get excited about that? This would be a great year. Too bad the other 5 state lines are not on the ballot. Great year, 2010. Get liberals out, get conservatives in. How many people get excited about putting a new auditor in office? All right,
I helped run a state auditor campaign in Minnesota in 1970.
People get excited about the auditor's race, and I certainly understand that. You don't stay with life and think, man, new state auditor, this would be great, I can't wait. To keep up state auditor, in the 6 statewide offices, of course, everyone knows the governor and all the rest of it. They all have unique powers. Of course, the governor is the most powerful elected official in the state, clearly. Speaker of the House is the second most powerful elected position in the state. The unique power about the state auditor is, first of all, that, in my opinion, is the only elected office in state government that can hold state government accountable.
That's right.
The legislature, part of this checks and balances thing, we, the legislature, really cannot hold state government accountable the way a business would typically operate. I mean, we certainly have power in the legislature. In fact, when I talk to 4th graders, they think the governor's kind of king. So, well, no, the governor actually can't change one letter of state statute. Not one letter. The governor, even in a $23 billion budget, the governor of the state can't add $1 to the budget. Has no power whatsoever. That's the power of the legislature. But the legislature is not king either. So the auditor has the power and the authority and the responsibility to hold state government accountable. I'm just going to give you one example, kind of the mentality of a state government. Whenever back Carl Beard, first Republican chairman, House Bill chairman over 50 years, this was in calendar year 2003. He was sworn in January. State of Missouri had actually were facing some challenging financial times. What we're facing now is even worse. Carl, and again, everyone's budget comes from the House Budget Committee, including the governor's. We decided what the governor's budget would be. We decided how many people work in the governor's office, not him. So they were really interested in communicating with us and working with the House, right? Well, challenging financial times, so Carl asked the departments, whenever you come in front of the committee, a lot of programs in state government, we want you, the departments, to rate your programs. They clearly know what programs work well, what programs don't work so well. In fact, we want you to rate them from 10, a program that state government cannot live without, down to 1, and everybody in the room knows what's going to happen to a 1, right? I thought it was a very reasonable request. I served on the Budget Committee all 8 years. Does anyone want to guess, when the departments came back in front of Carl Bearden, Chairman of the House Budget Committee, what every program was rated?
Yeah.
Every program in state government had to exist. We could not live without one program in state government. That's the mentality of state government. They exist to grow their budget. Period. At the end of the day, if they grow their state budget, they succeed. If they serve the people, well, that's good too. But if they grow their state budget, that's even better. So we need someone in the auditor's office who understands that mentality, who certainly understands the state budget, because that to me is the most important thing the auditor does is a $20+ billion budget to audit that state budget and to hold the bureaucracy accountable, and who's not afraid to get into a street fight. Because it can get ugly. Because we're talking about their turf, and they don't like it. So I've got the option, the knowledge, the background dealing with the state budget. Again, been with the committee for 8 years, served as chairman for 5 years. That's really all I do. This year I'm doing some fun things like these resolutions to our colleagues in D.C. that tick off our federal senator. So that's just kind of icing on the cake, actually, compared to what I have to do. So I have the background, I have the track record of my 88 Republican colleagues in the Missouri House. I've been endorsed by 82. And these are the people who know me best. They see me in action. I served with quite a few of these guys and gals for 8 years now. So it's easy to come in front of any crowd and say, I'm the most conservative person in the room. And if you don't know me, well, maybe he is. But having 82 people who've known me for quite a few years, I believe sends that message that Alan's the right guy. We've seen him operate, we've seen him work, we know his work ethic, we know he sticks to his principles. That's what we need in state government, is more people like Alan. Also have the business background. Some people say, maybe this is one of the questions, are you a CPA? No, not CPA. I have an engineering degree and an MBA. A lot of what the auditor's office does deal with financial audits, but they also deal with management audits. And a management audit is much more broad. It keeps being an auditor. In fact, here's a test. Can someone in the room name one previous Missouri State Auditor? Don't all shout out. Claire McCaskill, yeah. Dear Claire is a former state auditor. That's right. No, she's Secretary of State. All right, the other two I'm thinking of are Republicans. These aren't any names for them, but everyone knows them. Republicans who served as a Missouri State Auditor.
Roy Blunt?
No, not Roy, his Secretary of State.
Kip Bond.
Kip Bond. Kip Bond. That's right. And none of the three have a business degree, they're all lawyers. So, do you need to be a CPA? It probably does. Really, you're the chief executive officer of the state audit department. You really direct the resources that you have. You need to understand to be able to converse, which again, being chairman of the House Budget Committee, I think I can talk budget anytime, day or night. But you need to be a good manager, especially, and I think you need to be a good watchdog of taxpayers' money.